Imagine waking up in a world with no electricity, no Wi-Fi, no Spotify playlists, no Uber Eats, and brace yourself, no coffee. You drag yourself out of a straw mattress crawling with bugs, look around, and realize the only alarm clock is the church bell telling you it's time to get up and shovel cow poop. Craving your morning iced caramel macchiato? Too bad. The closest thing to coffee in medieval Europe was ale for breakfast because water could literally kill you. So congratulations, you're now starting your day slightly tipsy and extremely confused. Oh, and it's only 6 a.m., time to get clean, right? Nope. Showers? Don't exist. Bathtubs? Maybe if you're rich. But for you, dear peasant, cleanliness is a seasonal event, like a solar eclipse or a royal beheading. To mask the stench, people stuffed herbs in their clothes or wore perfume. The result? You smelled like a sweaty salad marinated in rose water. Romantic! And don't even think about deodorant. Your armpits were basically chemical warfare. Feeling hot? There's no air conditioning. You cool off by sweating profusely and praying for wind. Feeling cold? No heaters either. Just wear 6 layers of wool and cuddle a goat. If you don't have a goat, you die. Simple. Alright, nature's calling, but before you go looking for a toilet, let me stop you right there. There are no toilets. No porcelain throne. No flush. Not even a dignified hole with a door. If you're lucky, you get a chamber pot. Translation, a glorified bowl you pee in, then toss out the window like it's confetti at a parade. Bonus, you'd better yell "Garde low," which means look out, before launching your pee missile onto unsuspecting villagers. Most people didn't. What happens when you need to go and you're outside? Easy, you go outside. Behind a bush, in the street, next to a horse. Public urination wasn't a crime, it was a community activity. Castles had garderobes, holes in the wall that dropped straight into the moat. Yes, the same moat people thought was romantic and picturesque was filled with centuries of literal crap. Wipe? With what, exactly? Toilet paper wasn't a thing. Try hay, moss, a rag, or your left hand if you're really in a rush. May the gods have mercy on your butt. Also, no hand washing. No soap, just smearing germs around like a chef seasoning food. Which is why you're about to catch something medieval and die in a week. So you've survived breakfast without Wi-Fi or soap. Impressive. But don't get too comfortable, you're already sick. No, seriously, there's a good chance your medieval version is leaking from somewhere. You might have the plague, yes, that plague. The Black Death, the one that turned your organs into soup and wiped out half of Europe. Sneezed twice, you're done. Medical help? Let's see. Your local doctor wears a giant bird mask and thinks bad smells are demons. His solution? Rub onions on your chest, or maybe apply a dead toad. There were no antibiotics, no painkillers, no clue what a virus even was. If you had a fever, you'd get bled, as in they'd literally cut you open and drain your blood to make you feel better. Spoiler, it didn't. Got a toothache? Let's yank it out with rusty pliers and no anesthesia. Stomachache? Here's a potion made of lead, mold, and prayers. And if you screamed during surgery, they'd just assume it was the demon leaving your body. Very spiritual. Even a paper cut could get infected and kill you. You walk barefoot through mud and mystery fluids, and you're shocked your toe turned green? That's gangrene, baby, and guess what? That leg's coming off. Alright, let's say you actually made it to a doctor. Big mistake. Medieval medicine was less healthcare and more experimental horror with extra leeches. First up, bloodletting. They believed that if you were sick, it meant your humors were out of balance. So their solution? Open a vein and let the sickness drip out like bad vibes at a yoga retreat with knives. You had 4 humors: blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. No, they didn't make sense then either. And yes, doctors genuinely thought your mood swings were caused by too much snot. Headache? They might drill a hole in your skull to let the demons out. Stomachache? Try mercury or ground-up mummy powder, which was actual ground-up mummies. Seriously, they ate ancient corpses like snacks.
Broken leg?
Here, bite on this stick while I guess how bones work. Also, I don't believe in germs, but I do believe in the healing power of pigeon droppings. Surgery tools weren't sterilized, or clean, or even particularly sharp. Your best hope during surgery was passing out from the pain before you saw your own intestines. Now you wake up, realize you're in the 1300s, and your first thought is, at least I can dress the part. Slow down, fashionista. In medieval times, your outfit could literally get you killed. Colors weren't just aesthetic, they were status symbols. Purple, royalty only. Fur, nobility. Wearing something above your class was considered disrespectful and punishable, like head on a pike punishable. Now let's talk about shoes. You want sneakers? Try pointy leather death traps called poulaines. They were so long, people tied them to their knees to walk. Fashion flex? Sure. Walking hazard? Absolutely. You think corsets were bad? Try 40-pound wool robes in the summer heat. Or iron armor that cooks you like a rotisserie chicken in the sun. And don't even think about accessorizing wrong. A heretic's hat, a jester's bell, or a poorly chosen brooch could mark you as a criminal, a clown, or worse, a witch. But hey, if you survive the disease, the filth, and the doctors, at least you'd look slightly fabulous on your way to the execution block. It's called medieval chic. So, you think you'd be a knight, huh? Swinging swords, riding horses, rescuing maidens. Yeah, no. You're not Aragorn, you're Arnold, the guy shoveling horse poop behind the stable. Statistically, you were a peasant. No title, no land, no sword, just dirt under your nails and 14 hours of backbreaking labor for bread, and not even good bread. This stuff could break teeth. Your job, farming the land. Rain or shine, sick or healthy, plague or war. Doesn't matter, the fields need you. And by fields, we mean mud pits full of bugs, rats, and the occasional angry goose. Want a raise? Too bad. Your reward for surviving the week is more work. Oh, and maybe a bowl of turnip soup if you're lucky. You couldn't vote. You couldn't read. You couldn't leave the land you were born on. Basically, you were one bad harvest away from dying in a ditch, and the king wouldn't even know your name. So no, you wouldn't be a noble warrior riding into battle. You'd be the guy holding the knight's sweaty armor while he gets all the glory and probably dies from a paper cut anyway. So now you're walking through town minding your own business when you accidentally step on a noble's foot. Oops, you've just committed treason. Sentence? Public execution. No trial, just vibes and violence. Medieval justice wasn't about fairness, it was about making an example. Steal bread, lose a hand. Talk back to a priest, burned at the stake. Look suspicious? Into the dungeon you go. And let's not forget the greatest hits. Trial by fire, walk barefoot across hot coals. Trial by water, get tossed into a river. Live guilty, drown innocent, but too late. Oh, and public torture was entertainment. People brought snacks. You'd get flayed, stretched, or roasted, and the crowd would rate your screams like it's medieval America's Got Talent. Even simple things could get you punished. Forget to pay a tax, jail, gossip about the queen, tongue torn out. Look like you might be thinking too much, burned for witchcraft. But hey, if you survived the punishment, you gained nothing. No compensation, no therapy, just more work and probably gangrene. Now, in the medieval times, your every thought, every move, every weird dream was monitored by the biggest authority in town, the church. And trust me, it wasn't the friendly neighborhood kind. Sin was literally everywhere. Sleep too long? Sloth? Eat a second bowl of stew? Gluttony. Have a sexy dream? Straight to hell? You probably committed 3 mortal sins before breakfast. Everyone went to church, or else mass wasn't optional. It was mandatory. Didn't show up, people assumed you were consorting with demons, and suddenly the village bonfire has your name on it. And speaking of demons, you weren't just afraid of thieves or warlords. Nope, you were terrified of invisible spirits 24/7. Every cough, demonic possession, every shadow, witchcraft, every sneeze, possibly the devil escaping your body. Oh, and confession, not private. You confessed your sins to a priest who then told everyone in the village. You thought the gossip ante was bad? Try medieval clergy with free time. The church decided what books were allowed, what jobs you could do, even what days you could eat meat. And if you disagreed, you were a heretic. And heretics were flammable. You think you'd survive 1348. Bro, you'd pass out at the sight of a medieval splinter. You'd either get executed for breaking some random feudal law, diagnosed with too much bile, or eaten by a bear on the way to the well. And somehow, the bear would be the most merciful part of your day. If you enjoyed watching me absolutely destroy your medieval survival dreams, do your modern duty, hit that subscribe button. It's free, painless, and no one gets bled with leeches. Drop a like, ring the bell, and comment how long you think you'd last in the Dark Ages. Spoiler, it's still less than a day.